Welcome to our weekly Christ in Our Neighborhood conversation where Joyce and I talk about Sunday's Gospel with Bishop John. Everything you need to do this with friends and family is on the Diocese of Phoenix website in the Christ in Our Neighborhood section. Welcome back, Bishop.
It's wonderful to be with you, and today is always one of those. It's just a great Sunday where we celebrate the mystery of the Eucharist.
And this week we'll hear from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, verses 11 to 17. So, Bishop, would you like to start us off with reading the reflection?
Sure. In addition to our share in the priestly and prophetic nature of Christ, we also share in his kingship. Not to be confused with a king who lords over others, Jesus Christ is a servant king, a shepherd king, who feeds his flock.
Certainly, as we read our gospel, we can see our shepherd king at work. In a miraculous way, Jesus was able to feed the crowd of 5,000 men with just 5 loaves and 2 fish. In addition, they had enough fragments left over. In other words, there is enough of the Lord's miracle to go around.
However, there is something more profound here. Our shepherd king expects the 12 apostles to do as he would do. He says to them, "Give them some food yourselves." He expects them to share in his life as a servant or shepherd king. To drive home this point, the fragments left over fills 12 baskets, one each for the 12 apostles to share with others.
All right, and so Bishop, what is our question for this week?
So what does it mean for you to share in that kingly or royal nature of Christ? And I think really to be like a shepherd king, to have having a share in the nature of Christ through grace. We are called to be priestly people and prophetic people, but that whole sense of servant people, servant king people, is wonderful. It really is just an addition to our initial call to be stewards of creation, stewards of each other's bodies and souls, to tend to each other. But this idea of shepherding as a shepherding king really goes to that next level of giving and forgiving and, lifting like a shepherd would a sheep upon our shoulders and accompanying them. And so to me, that's what that means. It's that next step that is, it's a level of dying to self that Jesus expects of us. Yeah.
That's so true. And for me, just as a wife and a mom, it just really hits home because that's what it is to be a mom, and particularly at this juncture with 5 adult children, as little ones, leading them toward Christ, and then as young adults and some of them young fathers, young husbands, just guiding them. And now they're kids, which I really love, because how many times have we had people on the show and they've talked about how influential their grandmothers were, right? So last Sunday, we're sitting at Mass with our son and some of the grandkids, and the 5-year-old, the oldest grandchild, leans forward at the sign of peace and says, "Peace be with you, Grammy." Nice. It just was so beautiful to see. Like, God gives us that role, I think, as moms, as wives, as grandmothers, and what a big responsibility that is, right?
Yeah, it is. For me, it means service. It means sacrifice. Right. And what that often looks like in my life is it's reaching out to somebody with a call or a text or bringing a meal or just reaching out with a little love. And oftentimes that kingly service looks like they're invisible moments. For me, it's in the ordinary moments that are often invisible. Yeah.
So true. All right. Well, what is our task for this week?
If you haven't had the opportunity to make a donation of blood this year, consider visiting a Red Cross station near you. It's something you can spare and will be an anonymous hero. You will be an anonymous hero. In fact, you could help save more than one life with just one donation. So you may not be able to make a blood donation, but you may help to get the message out, becoming a Red Cross ambassador. What a perfect way to share in the kingly mission of Christ. Talk about donation, self-donation.
Yeah, that's a wonderful task. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll see you next week. For more information on Christ in Our Neighborhood and resources to start your own group, visit the Christ in Our Neighborhood section at the Diocese of Phoenix website.